So many things irritate me to no end when it comes to right-wing media and propaganda. It's an endless list of bigotry and hatred, and for the most part, just distractions in society, manufacturing things that don't exist, and making these things big time issues. And it is a garbage heap on the right wing. And don't get me wrong, there's some so-called left-wing operations that are garbage too, like CNN, MSNBC. I don't know how those get called left-wing, but they do. In America, it passes for left-wing. I don't know what else to tell you. It's just by American standards, those are left-wing outfits. And they're horrible. They're corporate, driven narratives. They're sponsored by warmongers. They're pretty nefarious too in their operations. But the main thing that really gets me about right-wing propaganda is how the hatred for the LGBTQ community, for black people, for brown people, for women's rights, for immigrants, and all these other issues, that's bad enough, right? Like that's bad enough right there. Just addressing those. But I hate how those issues act as a distraction loop against what Americans need to hear, which is a progressive populist messaging that supports workers, that focuses on economic problems and economic systems in society, rather than keeping people drunk on hatred for people who might not be like them, or for people they just don't want to have power and or rights. They get away with not having an economic message that wins people over. You know why? Because they don't have one. They only have a big business narrative that supports corporations and the super wealthy. That's it. And those are the people who fund most of the right wingers, and the MSNBCs and the CNNs. Once again, I'm not going to leave those people out. And we can even open it up to those people too, the CNNs and the MSNBCs, how they do not have economic messaging for working class people. They keep people distracted with a whole sorts of Washington insider, panels and all this other DC bubble nonsense that doesn't affect regular people. So yeah, I know, I get it. Media is just bad everywhere we go. We're not being helped. But I'm really just trying to hone in on like the Ben Shapiros, the Steven Crowders, those types of propagandists who focus on these toxic social issues, and they never talk about economics, because the economics they represent, once again, the greater portion of their base doesn't agree with it. They don't agree with a low minimum wage, or agree with having no health care or college debt. A lot of them do get propagandized, don't get me wrong. But there are people out there whose minds can change if they're given the right populist progressive messaging from the right people. And they know they can get away with this all the time, so they just keep it on the hate, keep it on the trans people, keep it on women's rights, keep it on the border, the southern border, keep it on hating people that are not like you, and therefore we don't have to talk about an economic message at all. I'm not saying they don't do it at all. I'm saying they just don't have to do it if they don't want to, because they just keep people drunk on hate. It's what people respond to. They know this, and this is the agenda for right-wing propaganda's by and large. The Tucker Carlsons, the Ben Shapiros, they don't have to talk to us about solutions for people who need better lives, for workers who need better wages, for people who need health care. They don't have to address real concerns. They just have to manufacture a bunch of hate and put it out in the zeitgeist to keep people distracted. And it just makes me sick. I see what it's done to people close to me. This isn't some far and away analysis. Most of my family are right-wingers, far right-wingers, so I experience this firsthand, okay? I get all the talking points. I mean, talking to my family is like talking to Tucker Carlson. It's like watching the show last night. They show up with it. They spew the hate to me, and it's just like almost verbatim what Tucker said last night. It's disgusting. And it's winning way too many people over. The whole time, they don't have an economic message to win people over with. They can only win people over with hate and hateful distractions.